Hello everybody and welcome back to the Bourbon Bar. I'm Holden and today I'm bringing you guys a very special video because I'm going to be reviewing one of my most exciting whiskeys in my collection. Now, if you guys watched my most recent video talking about all my milestone whiskeys, you'll have realized that this is the one whiskey that I have searched for the longest, and it's probably one of the most important whiskeys in my collection for that reason. It's kind of the whiskey that I, set my heart and soul toward getting, and I actually found it for MSRP, so that's super exciting. Now, if you guys aren't aware of this came out at the end of last year. This is Wild Turkey's Master Keep product. This in particular one is called Wild Turkey Master's Keep Unforgotten. It is a blend of Kentucky straight bourbon and rye whiskeys finished in rye casks. So it's a blend of the two, a bourbon and a rye, so it's a Bourye, and then it's finished in rye casks. So it's kind of like a double barrel, it's a finished, basically. This comes in at 105 proof. This is batch number 1, obviously, and it was $200. But we'll get right into this. So one of the things I love about this is not only the box, but also the bottle. Like, it's literally perfect in every way. The shape, the turkey on it, the elegancy, the cork is super cool, right? So a little bit more information on this bottle. It is a magnificent marriage of a 13-year-old bourbon and 8 and 9-year-old rye finished in a secondary maturation period in rye casks. So basically, 13-year-old bourbon, 8 and 9-year-old rye blended together, finished in a rye cask for extra time, is going to make up this bottle. I don't know if you guys are as excited as I am, but I'm super excited. I love Turkey 101. I love Turkey 101 rye. I can't imagine that I wouldn't love a Bourye at 105 proof that has extra age on it. It's probably just going to be absolutely fantastic. You know, there's a little bit of older 13-year-old Turkey product that some of you guys may be familiar with. Not necessarily Turkey, it is Russell's, but But that's enough talking, guys. Let's go ahead and get this right on the nose. It's just so good. It's got some cream, it's got some like orange creamsicle going on. Maybe a little on the orange zesty side. It's definitely got some baking spice in here coming across as like a baking spice mixed with that oak coming across as this nice like pastry, like this orange pastry. What is an orange pastry anyway? But yeah, so it's got some like orange flavor mixed with some pastry notes, which is making this really nice delicate nose on here. I gotta say, it smells fantastic. It definitely has this that you can definitely get that rye spice in here. I am getting a bit of rye here on the nose, but not like, ryes aren't my #1 go-to, but it is nice having a rye every once in a while. But I don't love super overpowering ryes, if that makes sense. And this is actually a perfect balance between the rye and the bourbon, at least on the nose. So it smells absolutely fantastic, decadent. I can't wait to get it on the palate. Oh my goodness. From start to finish, that is amazing. It's got up front, I got this like superb cream note, like this like creamy, it's almost like someone took like a cream and mixed orange with it, so it's like an orange flavored cream. Really orange dreamsicle is probably the sensation right on the front of the palate as it's moving back. Then toward the back of the tongue, it hits you with that oak spice and that rye spice too a little bit. It's very, very good. Also a lot of caramel in this one on the palate, which is, I always love seeing some caramel here. Drinking at about 105 proof, so pretty accurate. It's not like super light. It's not like it doesn't have any flavor, but it is like decently easy to drink. But it has a boatload of flavor, and honestly the viscosity of this was something that I wasn't expecting for 105 proof, but it definitely has such a rich mouthfeel, which is uncommon, I think, at something of this proof range. I'm literally speechless. I don't know what else to say. I love this. And it's not just my love for the bottle alone. It's actually the flavor in the whiskey. It's so good. I haven't really, honestly, it's kind of depressing to think about, but I haven't really sat down and thought about it as much as I am right now on this video because I bought it in a hectic time, buying a bunch of really nice bourbons. And I was doing videos with it where I was putting it in blinds and doing this, that, and the other thing with it, comparing it against all this warm hot things, but I never actually got a chance to just sit down and have some of this. And if it's not one of the best things I have on my shelf, I don't know what is. This is amazing. Going back to the nose, one thing I'm getting on here now is that black pepper note. It actually says there's a black pepper note on here, and I didn't quite get it at first, but after the palate, after I took a sip of it, I'm going back to the nose, I am definitely getting a bit of that black pepper, which is nice and rounding. It's just like, this is a perfect amalgamation, is that the right word? This is this perfect blend of a bourbon and a rye, and like, it's not overpowering in rye. You think it might be because of the rye cask that it's finished in, but it's not overpowering. I think that rye cask honestly did it justice. I feel like without that rye cask, maybe it would have been too bourbony, and maybe that's why they aged it in the rye cask for a secondary maturation period. Maybe they just wanted more rye influence, but overall, it created something great. Lots of great baking spices, rye spice, this nice toasted oak note, and it's just got this like orange pastry, orange dreamsicle nose, and then on the palate, just this great orange dreamsicleness. It's creamy, it's rich, and it's delicious. I can't say enough great things about this. This is awesome. And before we get to the grading portion, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not, and leave a comment in the comment section. What is your favorite wild turkey product? Also, I do have a Patreon if you guys would like to support it. It's down in the description. And that being said, let's go ahead and get the grading underway. Alright, everybody, so for the grading portion of this, I am going to start with the nose, and honestly, the nose isn't my favorite part because I love the palate, but the nose is still pretty amazing. Honestly, it smells fantastic. On the nose, I'm going to have to give it a 9.2 out of 10. Then we're moving on to the palate, which is by far my favorite thing about this whiskey. I'm a big nose guy, so when the palate is so good like this, and it's so delicious, I love that kind of whiskey because it's not something I get to experience as much. Because usually I'm really focusing on how much I love the nose. But this palate is honestly amazing, and I say maybe one of the best palates I've drank in terms of flavor just on the tongue. It's not overproofy, it doesn't need that proof to have all the flavor. So on the palate, I'm going to give this a 9.6 out of 10. Alright, now for the value for the money, guys. This I paid $189.99 for it, so probably about $200 after taxes. And it was 100% worth it. I love the packaging, I love the bottle, I love the way it tastes, I love everything about it. But $200 is a lot of money for a lot of people. Would I pay more than that? Yeah, I'd probably pay, honestly, if I would have saw it for $250, I probably still would have paid it. But much over that, I don't know, that's getting a little bit too high for me. And the only reason I would have probably paid $250 is because, like I said earlier in the video, this is one of my very sought after bottles. But if I had already had one and I was just looking to try it, I definitely would pay up to like $220, $230-ish for this. So this is 100% fantastic, a great experience, and I'd love to have another bottle. That being said, the value for the money, I'm going to have to give this one an 8.5 out of 10 because it is expensive, and even though it's worth it to me, it might not be worth it to a lot of you, so it's going to get an 8.5 out of 10. Now, if you guys would like to try this with a cheaper version, there is something that people call Wild Turkey 202. You buy a 101 bourbon, 101 rye, blend them together, and then taste them. And what I'm going to be doing is, if you guys would like to subscribe to the Patreon, I'm going to be doing a side-by-side comparison of this Wild Turkey Master's Keep versus a blend of the Wild Turkey 101 rye and 101 bourbon. It'll be 50-50, making the Wild Turkey 202, and we're going to see how close they can compare to each other, because that blend is very good, but this is very good, so I'm just curious to see how that would fare. But like I said, I have a link down in the description. You can either be a $2 or a $5 Patreon tier member. Anything would help me out and support the channel, so if you guys would like to do that, please, that would help me out a lot. But the final grade of this whiskey is going to be a 9.1 out of 10. With all those rounded up and divided by 3, 9.1 is what it gets. Honestly, that's a really good score for a whiskey that costs $200, because a lot of time that value for the money score will really bring it down. And there's a lot of good whiskeys out there, but sometimes you're going to end up paying the price. You're going to end up paying the price for this one, but I can guarantee you guys that it's worth it if you can get your hands on it for around MSRP. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I certainly enjoyed drinking this whiskey, but if you did, like I said, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, let me know your favorite Wild Turkey product in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next glass.